And that's part of the difficulty, I think, of getting people to watch it and to internalize what you're trying to say about it.
Yeah. But sometimes these things are influenced strongly by a direct connection to the conflict. Like in the case of that Bosnian show, it was Jasmila Zbanik who was with us. I had met her. I had worked in Sarajevo.
You went to Sarajevo, I remember, during the siege.
and worked with her. She was in that workshop with me, and we performed that over there, outside, and in the shade of a big building, so they couldn't snipe us. And this coming of her here and working with on here, and it was very deeply important to the show.
Mm-hmm.
In the last couple of years, we had a Haitian woman come, and then that resulted in doing shows about Haiti. Mm-hmm. That also wouldn't have happened, I think, even though I did a workshop in Haiti and I wanted to do something as a result of it. But because that woman came, it made it an obligation to do it. So these direct connections have a lot to do with.
Mm-hmm. And Rigoberto Menchú, I remember.
And Rigoberto Menchú came.
Guatemala.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And these Guatemalan refugees that lived in southern Vermont somewhere in a boat or something, right? In a monastery. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wonderful guys, and all the kids, parents and kids all participated. So those things make a difference. It's not just that you think about something or read about something, but then you meet those folks and you meet sample pieces of the problem in a real person, and it becomes just more real.
Yeah,
I'm going back to Sarajevo in a couple of weeks to do a workshop with Jasmina.
Oh wow!
Now she's working in little towns outside of Sarajevo, where there is strict segregation between Croatians and Bosnians.
Oh, really?
Where the kids, when they go to school, there's an entrance for Croatian kids and another one for Bosnian kids.
Oh my gosh!
And she's trying to do workshops to produce something where they both have to participate in something.
She's a filmmaker.
Some people they do Cantastoria stuff. So, you may remember a very tall, striking woman, very spirited. When she was here, she was such a good influence on all the puppeteers with her.
Now, Broken Off Letter was at that time also? Was that her story?
Was that more Nabila's participation?
Oh, yeah.
It was...
maybe hers wasn't called Broken Off Letter. We had 2 summers with themes of Bosnia, I believe. So I'm not sure if she was number or the other one. That's the one that you recorded, right?
I recorded that, yeah.
And there is another tall woman in there. She was a friend of yours, Susan. She played the woman.
Susan Conrad.
Susan Conrad.
Yeah,
Right.
I know her parents, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very nice woman. And she's now a minister or something?
I think so, yeah.
Somewhere
Yeah.
I like that relational element of the story creation, that you meet people and hear their stories, and out of that comes theater. That's neat.
So you should have a lot of shows about American colleges, right?
Of course, we meet so many college students. It's getting younger and younger here on the farm. The company is younger and younger every year.
No, we're older.
And it's always we're not together. That's amazing. When you knew people here, these were all people in their 30s. Now everybody's in their early 20s.
Wow.
Yeah, and they don't last very long either. They wear out. I mean, there's wear out. There's the fact that they have to pay their colleges so much money, student loans, so they have to go and get a better job than they have here. And there's all kind of influences. But but it's just maybe another a tendency that I don't know what the real reason is. But anyways, that's getting younger.
I remember when we had lunch with Thomas Naylor at the River, I think we're at the River Run Cafe, yeah. I asked you about how you both felt about this idea of Vermont independence.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you had a very interesting answer. But I wondered if you could share that for our readers, what your take on that is.
We were really happy when we heard about this idea, because we are always grappling with, when people say after the show, what do you do? What can we do? What can there be done? You know, so hard to answer these simplistic questions. But here was finally a really handsome and truly pragmatically possible idea,
up to a point.
You know, to a certain point, to adhere to, you know, to say and to propose to others. You know, at least we can strive for independence from this gigantic empire state that has outlived its reasonability and its humanity, for sure. So to now say to people as simply as, okay, join the movement to get Vermont, to pry it loose from the war makers. You know, get out of there. This terrible idea of running a military government. They're not even admitting to it that they are a military government. This is the awful thing. They call it less government, and they allocate more money to the military than ever. You know, less government, they call that. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
So that the Democrats and the Republicans are both in collusion.
Bernie and Leahy support the building of the F-35 in Burlington. So Lockheed Martin is in the driver's seat there. At least according to Thomas, he sent me a letter that says that. And we are making a play out of it. Naturally.
He's
Come for the June 5th, we're having a F-35 opera as part of our offering.
Work in progress.
Work in progress.
June
So it will be
5th.
total perfection by the time.
Where will that be?
Here, for our
in
museum
the
open
ballroom.
house.
Yeah.
June 5th.
Will your issue be out yet?
No.
No.
No, in
not
fact, we
by
might
yet.
have to come.
Uh-huh.
Now, so, because you said that Vermont independence up to a point.
Well, it's I don't want to put down the idea, but it's hard to imagine how there could be this separation, that it would be allowed, and that I mean, what, 90% of all the food that we consume comes from outside, and all the I don't know, and all the practical things would to solve them would be a huge job.
But there's a simpler way of looking at it, and that is the fact that if it were taken serious on the national level, the National Guard would be all over us.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
the
it's
fact
just,
that
it's
taken
allowed.
as a joke.
It's allowed.
So it must also be
Just
a
like
joke
puppet
somehow.
theater, right?
Right.
Well,
That's why you can.
we're in the same business, perhaps. Yeah. I mean, for the moment, that's its greatest power, is that there's a lightheartedness about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it does, perhaps, as with theater, it does provoke some reflections. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, more than that, I'm sure. I mean, it's a very attractive idea to many people. I think so. You know.
And I think Vermont is specially designed, in a sense, with a lake on one side, a river on the other side, a foreign country on the top side. It's only at the bottom that we're really
And
connected.
look what beautiful big walls
we-
we could build. You know, against Massachusetts.
All that
you
granite.
know. Oh.
well, it's funny because a lot of people say, so you want Vermont to become isolationist and you want to build walls around Vermont. We said, well, no, exactly the opposite. Assuming that the United States would allow this, right? Then why couldn't we just carry on trading with Canada, our number one trading partner, and the neighboring states, and grow more of our own food over time and harvest more of our own energy? And live more simply. Which
It could be it doesn't need to be an abrupt thing, and you could say that the U.S.
whole
government
local
is crumbling in its own way as it is.
and the whole local food movement growing.
Yeah.
In this, but
maybe it's an evolutionary process.
oh yeah,
Did you say you were going to be dealing with that this summer?
We always will.
Yeah,
And then we always want Thomas here to speak to people. We always want to deal with Second Vermont Republic ideas. Yeah, definitely.
we have such good puppets for it. Washerwomen and garbage men.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, I remember the first time I saw you in the Madrid Valley at the Warren School on the field there.
Oh yeah.
In summer. It was many years ago, and
Uh,
when the paper first started, and I remember you all did a piece about the Second Vermont Republic, and everyone in the crowd turned and looked at me as if I had something to do with it.
Oh.
I was publishing the paper, and like, first time I've seen this, actually. But it was great. I mean, it was it so captivated people in a way that, nothing else would. So I'm glad to hear you're going to keep doing that. Should we ask the summer question? Because we'd like to publish this piece for the July-August issue and let people know how they can find you. If they
well,
don't
you
know
know
already.
what? I give you the program, a
Okay.
little program book, and then you can see it in print in front of your nose.
Great.
Oh, wow.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
Is it here, Oscar?
He has to
Or do I have it
get
outside?
back for
Oh.
his
Oh yeah,
daughter.
we're good.
We're a good time.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're kind of
We
wrapping
have
up
an
here. So.
it's almost 12, so we can have an early lunch.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we have the soup
So
already.
you said we have to leave around 1 or
We should probably leave it like 12,
Yeah.
30, 12:40. We got plenty of time.
Oh,
Yeah, we're good.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, the summer begins with this museum open house, and we have a parade in Hardwick. We have a lot of parades lined up every summer, especially, around the 4th of July, there's the 3rd of July in Montpelier and Greensboro and all this. Did you find it?
Let me read it to you. Then you
do.
have it. So it's the summary, spelled like summer, of Carrot Year 2011. And so first is the annual museum door opening, that's June 5th, with bread and puppet shows. Then comes the Man Equals Carrot Circus, based
Can
on
you show it to the camera?
Based on the revelation that upright man rooted in dirt was created in the image of the upright carrot rooted in dirt. Is that clear enough? Yeah. Yeah.
Get it?
Sundays. And uprisers pageant, giant uprisers, representing the numerous uprisings of recent days, tried to awaken our capability to rise up against our own military shopping democracy. Then, and Labeland National Dance Company, 8 reasonable and unreasonable crying dances for 2011, including at least one crocodile tear dance about the $1 trillion deficit in the face of the $1 trillion tax exemptions. So that's the program. Pretty much, and there's all the parades and the...
Now, is the carrot related to carrot or stick?
No.
Good point.
point.
That's a good point, too.
That's in the sense where I think of carrots.
Yeah. Right.
But they are a very
Yes,
good,
they should.
upright vegetable.
A vegetable that can both be eaten and be used to subdue somebody effectively. Right? Like we say about bread, bread is a weapon, you know. You can defend yourself.
Especially a baguette. This is great. So yeah, we can publish the.
And we can take a
It's
picture
all
of that
in
close
there.
up and,
Yeah, definitely.
and whatever. Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
So everything is in there.
Okay, good. So the Hardwick Parade is.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, coming up.
And someone was pointing out that you're moving from puppeteering to dance, as if it's separate categories. But your puppets have always been, your dancers have always been puppets as well, and your puppets have always known how to dance, or do you
Yeah.
see a
No, it is. It
difference?
simply is another format. You know, the dances are really based on dancing together, and then we insert puppetry and politics into them. But it was real fun to get good. We got very good local response from when we did the dances. So people who want to join in, you know, because it's dancing. So many folks just want to move and be part of a movement piece.
and there's
so
also
we do that.
yeah.
We do regular dancing. And
And there's a problem that your identity, your personal identity, is lost in a puppeteer. So you have great puppeteers, but no one knows who they are as people. You
well,
know?
that can happen to them as dancers as well,
Uh-huh,
because we often put masks on them too.
Uh-huh.
But
That's
no,
great.
that's true. Yeah, that's right. I mean, puppetry, that's the wonderful thing, that it's anonymous. It's not, it doesn't have any of these egocentric elements that acting has. None of that is in it, because you lend your body and yourself to something larger, to something bigger, to a group effort, and also to, everything is done with a lot of people. There's very little soloism, and there's also this effect of being inside a sculpture, you know, and manipulating sculpture.
Why do you blow 2 trumpets at once?
Because more fun.
Speaking from both sides of your mouth.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
No, this